Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Just good morning, everyone. We are coming live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcomed. Your being is oceanic. Your being is oceanic. When I say being is oceanic, it is oceanic. Every moment, life presents many situations. When someone calls, try to avoid calling me when there is a live broadcast, because the sound of your calling is recorded into the live streaming, and it cannot be deleted from there. Every moment life presents many situations, problems, circumstances, situations, confusions. So what happens? Confusions and despair remains your way of life. Out of your ignorance, you go on overlooking or avoiding all these situations. This is the state of unconscious living and understanding. Living unconsciously means you do not trust the existence. Remember, you are part of the existence. Existence wants itself to be fulfilled through you and also through each one of us. Every circumstance and situation has great treasure hidden deep within. We do not realize that. For that, your trust, awareness, and meditation by going deep within the situation will unearth many treasures, just as in order to discover the gems, the precious gems from the depth of the ocean, you have to dive within. In the same way, you have to dive within the circumstances or situation. Only then you will be able to unearth, discover the treasures or the gems. Each time you dive deep within the inner depths, you discover treasures. Many treasures are hidden deep within you. Your being is an unfathomable ocean. It has many gems and precious moments of understanding hidden deep within. When you go deep within these moments, myriad gems will unravel their secrets to you as understanding and awareness. When you discover a quartz, crystal quartz, or any other precious stone and light falls, many reflections takes place through that crystal quartz. In the same way, myriad gems that unravel, that you discover from the deep within, they unravel their secrets to you as understanding and awareness. but man is unconscious. Although he believes he is conscious, that very belief protects his unconsciousness. Man is ignorant. Although he believes he knows, that very belief keeps the ignorance intact. Man is just opposite of what he thinks he is. To understand this is the beginning of a great revolution. You have to drop idealism, and that is, you are on a new journey of discovering gems from the being, from the ocean of the being. Then you see where you are and what you are in reality. It needs courage. It is nice to believe in beautiful ideals. However, all ideals function only in one way. They only function for one thing because they hide your reality that you are. Hide your reality, and that is why we go on creating beautiful ideals and dreams. Not that we are really interested in those great ideals. Our real interest is how to hide the ugly facts that our life has. There is a difference between facts and truth. Truth is far more subtle and sublime, whereas facts are not so. When you know truth, it overwhelms you. You know by the head and by the toe. You know by your bones and by your guts. You know by your heart and by your blood. You know it by your breathing, just by your being. Truth is known by being alone. Nothing else. That is the meaning when I say truth is felt. For you, truth is to be known. Truth is to be felt deep within. It is an experience. When one can watch the mind without condemning or appreciating it, without judging as good and bad. This I do not want or that I want, without uttering a single statement about the mind. Then one can watch it in deep silence, and that watching the mind in deep silence is meditation. Then what happens? A miracle happens. A miracle happens, and that changes everything around you. Indeed, that changes everything when you know truth as a feeling. Miracle happens, and it happens only with meditation. When you are simply standing out, not participating, no longer active in any way, utterly inactive and silent, mind disappears. Then slowly and slowly it goes farther and farther away. Slowly and slowly you hear the noise coming from a distance. Something is receding. When it is close by you, the noise is louder. As it begins to move away from you, it appears as if the noise is coming from far away. It has faded out completely then, or it has withered away. And when the mind is not there, you are left alone without the mind, and that is state of no mind. the fragrance is released. You have come home. You have become fulfilled. The 1,000-petal lotus of your being has opened. You have offered your fragrance to existence. When your 1,000-petal center opens, you offer your fragrance. Your fragrance is released in the cosmos. And that is how the existence wants itself to be fulfilled through you. The moment the flower blossoms, its beauty and the fragrance, which is your inner beauty and the fragrance, begins to manifest in the outer atmosphere, existence feels fulfilled. And when mind is not, you are left alone without it. The fragrance is released. You have come home. You have become fulfilled. The 1,000-petal lotus of your being has opened. You have offered your fragrance to existence. An offering of your fragrance to the existence is the only prayer. Offering the fragrance of your being is the only prayer. When after the Mahabharata, Bhishma, the grandsire, was on the bed of arrows. It was the last moment. Krishna comes in. And in 11 sutras, Bhishma narrates, gives the message. What do I have to offer to you? The flowers of my actions, my understanding. All these I offer to you. The tears that are overflowing in your presence at this moment, these are offered to you as water. In the same way, because the worship requires patram pushpam phalam toyam. Toyam, patram is the leaf, pushp, flower, toyam is water, and the fruit is phalam, fruits of my actions, the water that flows from my ears, from my eyes. All these I offer to you as my salutations at this prayer. This is a prayer. When your 1,000-petal center opens, tremendous fragrance and beauty is released, and that alone is the prayer. That is the only gift you can give it to God or give it to the existence. The sum total of the experience is God. The sum total of your understanding is God. And that is the only gift which can be given to God. But there is something more than mind in you. Certainly that is the only hope. There is something deeper than the mind in you. And what is deeper than the mind is your consciousness. It is not a part of the mind, instead it is beyond the mind. Mind cannot capture the fragrance, the essence of consciousness. Consciousness is not part of the mind. You can even watch your mind. So the watcher is separate from the mind and different from the mind as well. And this watcher has totally a different quality. This is just the opposite of the mind. Opposite of the mind. This is the quality that is called contentment or absolute contentment. Each moment is full of joy that you are so executive. exquisitely joyful that even if death comes right now, you will not ask for another moment. You will not ask for another moment because this moment was enough. There is no question of asking for another world. Even for another moment, you will not say to death, wait, because I have to finish a few things. Because there are a few things which I was doing and they are still incomplete. Instead, you will say, I am ready to move with you. And if you are ready to rebel against the mind, bliss explodes and brings tremendous victory. The only victory that can be called victory is not the victory over something else. Instead, the victory over your own innermost self. The victory which makes you capable of entering into the kingdom of God. And that kingdom of God is your innerness. However, the modern mind has not been able to understand the mystic and the mysticism, the essence of mysticism. The mystic seems to be very alien to modern mind, just sitting silently and doing nothing, not even thinking. Then why are you sitting? The Western approach or the modern man is a mind approach. It is dominated by philosophy. Because of that domination, it cannot think that there can be any possibility of just being and doing nothing. No questions, no problems, and no thoughts, just relaxing and resting in oneself. Remember, life is a flux and everything goes on changing. Everything is in this precise moment. In life, there are no nouns, only verbs. There is only one noun, and that noun is God, and the rest is, everything is verb. Everything else is verb because nothing else is eternal. Everything is momentary. One moment it is there and the next moment it is gone. That is why it is better to say revering or loving instead of river and love. When you witness all this, then slowly and slowly you are neither happy nor unhappy. Instead, you have transcended the two. And that state, when neither happiness nor unhappiness is there, bliss is born. Krishna tells Arjuna in one of the sutras, Sitoshna Samadukha, he takes the analogy. Sheath means cold, ocean means summer. One who is equipoised in the two opposites, heat and cold. Heat and cold. Then neither of the two can affect you. When winter comes, you enjoy the winter. When summer comes, you enjoy the summer. When you witness all this, then slowly and slowly you are neither happy nor unhappy. And that state when neither happiness nor unhappiness is there is bliss indeed. You are neither cold nor hot. And that state, the beyond duality, is Buddhahood. You are neither man nor woman. Ardhanarishwar, this is a state of God realization. And in that rest, one arrives at one's own innermost core. And that is where one finds the truth, the gems from deep within. That is where one finds truth, Nowhere else you can find truth, you can experience it. The philosopher searches everywhere but in vain. The mystic simply sits in his own home, doing nothing, and discovers the truth. Lao Tzu says that you need not even go out of the room. All that you want, consciousness, you can find inside, and he is absolutely right in saying so. The more conscious you are, the more you will feel bliss arising in you. The day one is totally conscious, there is no nook and corner of your own being which is dark. There is no darkness at all. When one is luminous, when one has become light, each act is done in full awareness, then one even sleeps in full awareness, total awareness. Then sleep becomes a rest. The more conscious you are, the more you will feel the bliss arising in you. That has been the goal down the ages. This is the real search of religion. How to come to the point where you can sleep and be alert and awake. Right now the situation is just the opposite. You are awake and you're still asleep. You are a daydreamer. The day it happens, one has entered into the world of the divine, the world of God. What Jesus calls the kingdom of God, Buddha calls as nirvana. This requires looking within. To look within is the first and the last step of intelligence, because once you look in, there is nothing worth looking out for, because you have discovered the great treasure. What are you going to look outside now? Once you look within, you have seen the greatest treasure of existence. Those who are divers, once they have seen the world deep within, then they are not satiated with the outer world. You have seen the greatest treasure of existence. You have encountered God. Now there is nothing more valuable or anything more precious. All desires simply disappear the moment you start looking within. Desires simply make you a beggar. And when desires disappear, the beggar too in you is disappeared, is gone. You become a king or a queen. That is the whole effort of a spiritual journey. Certainly, this is the way to give you the key to the kingdom of God. This is the only way to give you the key to the kingdom of God. The whole emphasis is on meditativeness and inwardness. However, you are accustomed too much to the outer world and absolutely remain unfamiliar to the inner realm, that we fail to go within. This is the only problem. The problem of all problems, or the root of problem. You can go on solving other problems and nothing will be solved, because you are only pruning the leaves, the foliage, and at the most the branches, but the root is there. The tree will go on growing. The tree will go on growing. It will bring new leaves, new foliage, new branches. In fact, the more you prune it, the thicker the tree gets. During autumn month, in order to nourish and nurture, we prune the rose, the branches of the rose plant. This implies watching, just watching, Indeed, it is really a miracle to watch. Miracle to watch. Just a small thought can take you to the farthest end, and if you look, you do not see any connection. A dog starts barking and your thought process is triggered. The dog is forgotten and you remember a friend who has a beautiful dog, or something else if you are trying to meditate or have an important conversation. Watching, enjoying, seeing the thoughts taking their own turn is as beautiful as seeing the sea with millions of waves arising on its surface. This too is a sea, and thoughts are waves. But people go on enjoying the waves in the ocean, and they do not enjoy the waves arising in their consciousness. I teach you to enjoy everything. Otherwise, you go on finding something or the other to fight with. Somebody is fighting with sex, next one is fighting with anger, somebody starts fighting with thinking, and someone else starts fighting with emotions or the body, or so on and so forth. But one thing is the same, and that is the common denominator, the fight. And to fight is to destroy your innerness. To fight is to destroy your innerness. There is no need to fight. Love. All fighting energy has to be transformed into love energy. Therefore, live life intensely, totally live life at the optimum, so that there is a process of transformation that takes place within you. Put your totality into each and every thing that you do. Never hold on even an iota of energy. Then love becomes awareness, walking becomes awareness, then even sleep becomes awareness, because at each peak awareness automatically happens, and then it has a beauty of its own. In that state alone, you come to realize that it is for the heart to suggest the problems, and it is for awareness to solve them through understanding and intellect. The problem is simply an indication that the solution is within. The solution you cannot find anywhere else but in the problem itself. The problem is simply an indication that the solution is within you and you are not looking for it. So go to the core of your confusion, allow it to assert itself, watch it and see it. You do not be in a hurry to get out of it, because whenever you are in a hurry to get out, understanding stops completely. What is the point of understanding something which wants to be dropped? And you cannot drop it unless you have understood it. That is the dichotomy. You cannot drop it unless you have understood it. Try to understand it. In that very understanding, confusion disappears. Clarity comes out of understanding. Your confusions and answers evolve by going deep within into your problems. Certainly one day it happens, all confusion is gone, or problems to disappear, and you are left all alone. The beauty of that aloneness is nirvana or enlightenment. The beauty of that aloneness is nirvana or enlightenment. All remains as it is. Only now between you and the reality there is no more clouds. Everything is the same. So too you are the same. The world is same. It is just the something between the two, the confusion, the clouds is no more there. And then you discover your dignity. Man's dignity is that he can choose to be prayerful or not to be prayerful. Man is always at the crossroad. Each step and there is a choice. Each step you can go wrong or right. When sadness and cheerfulness confronts you, always choose cheerfulness. When seriousness and playfulness confronts you, always choose playfulness. And remember, we become whatsoever we choose. It is simply a question of choice. Always choose that which helps you to expand your consciousness. From this moment, start becoming aware of it, and you will be surprised. Something in the middle of your sadness, suddenly the cloud disperses and the sun shines again in its full splendor, in its full glory. Suddenly you see the point that you have. You have chosen to be sad, and there is no need to be sad either. Life is such a beautiful gift that one should not waste a single moment in sadness, anger, jealousy, hate and possessiveness. One should dance one's way to God, and one should laugh one's way to God. Drop all sadness and seriousness, and do not ask how to drop it. That is the strategy of the mind, to go on keeping them. It is the way of postponement. How is the way of postponement? Simply drop misery. Do not linger on or postpone it. Say goodbye and do not look back. You will be surprised that it is so simple, so natural, so blissful. It is so natural to be blissful. It is unnatural to be miserable. It is really a great difficult job to remain miserable. But people are so skillful, so intelligent at being miserable. They have become a great artist of misery. If there is nothing to be miserable about, they invent something and remain miserable about it. Underneath, the current, bliss continues. Underneath the current, bliss continues. It is just like breathing or the blood circulation in the body. If the circulation stops for a single moment, you will be dead. But you never become aware of the circulation. In fact, for thousands of years, doctors used to think that blood was simply contained inside the body. Just 300 years ago, they became aware that it circulates, and it is not just there like a liquid in a bottle, but it is continuously moving. Blood is alive and pulsating within your body. Your body will die if the breathing stops. Just as breathing, blood circulation and food, nourishment is necessary for the existence of the body, so too bliss is necessary for the sustenance and for the existence of the being. But a little digging inside is needed so that you can uncover the undercurrent. Once you have known your blissfulness and the source of it, your whole vision changes. Your whole perspective is new. Then you can look at existence with new vision, new eyes. Then whatsoever you have found inside yourself, you will find everywhere else. Existence is simply a mirror. It reflects your real face with a mask. The mask is reflected. Existence only echoes your being. Once you have known the bliss is your nature, then the whole existence, the whole nature of the universe becomes blissful for you. That is what is realization or liberation. That outside is mere reflection of what you are. Realization dawns that meditation is the great leap into the unknown. Gather yourself together for a great journey. Yes, there is a risk, but the risk is worth. Risk is worth and alone necessary. Yes, there is insecurity, but insecurity is a great adventure. A great adventure. There is a danger, but with danger millions of thrills arise. You are always in for a surprise because you are moving into the unknown territory. Danger and risk is there, but never boredom. The path to heaven is of deep aloneness. A meditator enters into his mind and starts watching how the mind functions. How the mind functions. Just the very fact of watching the mind makes him aware that he is not the mind. That he is not anything that belongs to the domain of the mind. He is a faraway entity, qualitatively different, just a pure watching. In other words, just a pure mirror that only reflects the reality, but it is not imprinted by any reality. If one experiences or understands inwardly the deep feeling of becoming a dry leaf to be moved only by the existence itself. Lao Tse became awake, enlightened when he saw a dried leaf fall from the tree, tossing and turning with the wind. It came down and settled on the ground. Lao Tse became enlightened at that very moment. Then how can one push oneself to breathe or jump or do anything? All that but lie flat on the ground and dissolve. Then you realize that existence and understanding are two different things. Then you realize that experience and understanding are two different things. If you experience this, there is no need to ask the question. Just lie flat on the ground and dissolve. There is nothing to ask the question. There is no need to ask any question. When you experience something that brings a deeper understanding, and then there is no question of asking, then creativity as the fragrance of the flower. Then creativity as the fragrance of the flower of love is born in you. Creativity as the fragrance of the flower of love is born in you. When love blossoms, its fragrance fills the aura as creativity. And love is the root of creativity. Love nourishes the creativity. If you are in love, you are naturally and spontaneously creative. Then myriad flowers blossom. Love nourishes the creativity. If you are in love, you are naturally and spontaneously creative. Then myriad flowers blossom. Myriad flowers blossom. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care.